This is a podcast about the police. Let's just start with our weekly headline roundup, a little snapshot of what the police were up to this last week. So we start out, cops in San Joaquin, California, fatally shoot an unarmed man, R.I.P. Gregory Fitzgerald.
Cop in California kills his wife and then kills himself, R.I.P. Danella Hutzel.
Cop in San Antonio charged with helping inmates kill another inmate, R.I.P. Francisco Bazan.
Cop in Miami shoots man going through mental health crisis and receives no charges.
Jail cop in Indianapolis who injured an inmate's spine by shooting him point blank with pepper balls is sentenced to only probation.
Cop in Palm Beach, Florida paralyzes a teenager from the neck down.
Cop in Polk County, North Carolina assaults his ex's new husband.
Cop in Lincoln, Massachusetts charged with domestic violence.
Cop in Jacksonville, Florida charged with domestic violence.
Cop in Atlanta facing a lawsuit for sexually assaulting a teenager after she got into a car accident.
Cop in Aurora, Colorado charged with sexually assaulting a minor.
Cop in DeKalb County, Alabama charged with possession of child sex abuse material.
Cop in Tampa Bay, Florida who worked in the sex crimes unit gets 111 years for possession of child sex abuse material.
Cop in Manheim Township, Pennsylvania pulls his gun on a man while off duty outside a Wingstop.
Cop in Brooklyn charged with driving while intoxicated while on duty.
Cop in San Francisco injures several people in DUI crash on one day after graduating from the academy.
Cop in Miami Gardens kills a dog.
Cop in Columbus, Ohio kills a dog.
Cop in Jefferson County, New Jersey kills a dog.
Cop in Bucks County, Pennsylvania attempted to swindle an old lady out of her estate.
Cops in Springfield, Missouri thought an Amazon worker's stroke was a DWI, arrest him, throw him in jail for 7 hours, and cause him to become blind.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
God damn. Them last two?
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about both of them. We'll do the Springfield, Missouri. This is the third time on the podcast we've mentioned someone in public having a stroke. And the cops being like, perceiving it.
Do I kill it?
Exactly.
Do I shoot it?
Exactly.
No, help.
And not helping, making it worse. And I mean, both of these almost made the cut for being stories we would talk about further, but I didn't choose to include them because you kind of get the whole thing out of the headline. Yes, a cop took a 79-year-old lady who was in her last days and pretended to be romantically engaged with her, but then stole her will and was writing himself into her will. Just being
this is a story for a fucking podcast, bro. What the hell?
No, it's not, because that's it. I mean, that's it.
That's crazy.
And it's fucked up, it's just
Damn.
When cops aren't brutalizing us on the streets, they're just doing quietly evil cartoon stuff on their own.
They're always scheming.
They're scheming.
They're always just how can I get over today?
Yeah.
That's cartoonish. But
so that was last week. Welcome to the podcast. But what we will be talking about in a little bit more detail today, well, in our main episode, we'll be covering the surprise plea deal for a disgraced LAPD cop named Trevor Kirk. We've mentioned this case before. We'll be talking about an NYPD officer and his kind of hilarious financial woes, a love story between a creepy teacher and a creepy school cop, and cops breaking into a family's home over a dog.
Yes, sir. And on our Patreon, like and subscribe, $5 a month, help you play us out, give us 5 stars, all that beautiful shit.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about recent developments in America's criminal... let me start that over. I'm sorry. On our Patreon, we'll be talking about recent developments in America criminalizing homelessness and recent revelations on a police chief's fumbling of the investigation of the Long Island serial killer due to his own missing sex toys.
$5 a month. Want to hear us
Decipher that.
Laugh
Decipher
about
that.
Yeah.
Figure that one out without us.
Okay. So we're starting in LA. This was a story we've touched on before. We'll be reading from the Los Angeles Times. Article headlined, LA federal prosecutors resign over the plea deal for convicted sheriff's deputy. Several federal prosecutors, including the chief of the Public Corruption and Civil Rights Section, have submitted their resignations following a plea deal offered by the new U.S. attorney in L.A. to a sheriff's deputy who had already been found guilty for using excessive force. Two sources confirmed to the Times that the prosecutors resigned from the office over a post-trial plea agreement filed Thursday in the case of Trevor Kirk, an LA County Sheriff's deputy who was convicted of a felony for assaulting and pepper spraying a woman, an elderly woman, we should mention, at least a middle-aged woman, outside a Lancaster supermarket. Kirk, who has been relieved of duty by the Sheriff's Department, was found guilty in February of one felony count of deprivation of rights under color of law and faced up to 10 years in prison. Under the plea deal filed Thursday, which still requires approval from a judge, he would serve a maximum of 1 year in prison. The government agreed to recommend a year of probation. So before we keep going, let's fill them in. So I mentioned a couple times, we touched on this. If you remember, like about a month ago, we were making fun of the LAPD officers who boycotted their own fun run. They were having a little, whatever you call it, corporate, feel-good, morale-boosting fun run.
Everybody doesn't like us. Maybe we should, do a run, get some fun. You bring in, change the perception.
It's not. From what I saw, it's not even about that. It's just for their own camaraderie.
Okay,
you're at your company, you go on a little trip together and do little icebreakers and stuff.
This is for team morale.
Yeah. Talk about your favorite person you made cry last week who needed your help. Whatever it is that cops do to boost their morale. But a bunch of cops chose to boycott their own fun run in order to support their fellow officer Trevor Kirk, who's this guy, because he looked like, he just got convicted of excessive force.
Yeah. I too would love to abandon my work event, my mandatory work event, because I'm standing tall with my coworkers who are being mistreated. Nigga, you don't take your ass to that work event, you ain't gonna try. Ain't no noble cause. You
Exactly.
just don't want to go. Right?
And it's funny because it's like a fundamental misunderstanding of how a boycott works. Like when you want to boycott something, you're boycotting the government. You're boycotting. You're not boycotting your own fucking your own work event. This will show the feds. It's like, nah, bro. But yeah, cops aren't big fans of protesters in general, so it makes sense why they don't get it. But
also, this cop, you got to go watch the footage because I do remember seeing it. This is the cop that flipped that black lady over, like a UFC fighter. This nigga, she was recording. If I'm remembering correctly, because this is a while ago. If it's the same footage, I remember she was recording an arrest. Yeah, something else was happening.
He was fucking with someone else, and then she pulled out her phone to record him.
And then he came over, and I do remember the and he just throws her over the back. I was like, that is good technique, and I wrote it down, but. Yeah, no,
it was like a lady.
It was an old lady. It was an old. It very much reminded me of
it would look like just like a sweet black lady.
Church going.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was obviously
pepper sprayed her as well.
Yeah, he did. He did. And she was like, it wasn't good footage, and this guy. It was really fucked up. So
yes, and so the LAPD saw that injustice to their fellow officer, is how they perceived it. And have been fighting tooth and nail to, not to, in their mind, get justice for Trevor Kirk. And they seem to have succeeded. So the real story here that is that we're under a new administration now, the Trump administration. So 2.0. The people in charge of these localities are now appointed by this new administration, who is really engaging in a lot of political theater about the police. And so they're the ones who have come in and, as it mentioned, a post-trial plea agreement, which kind of doesn't make any sense. And I'll go into. I'll just let the article go into it. But before I do that, the article. This article centers around the federal prosecutors resigning, and it's like I don't know how much personal sympathy I could feel for prosecutors in general.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks. I'm sure they're going to try to apply for their jobs again in 4 years or whatever,
Yeah.
but it sucks, I guess, that they did all that hard work. It obviously sucks this guy gets to walk free. But personally, I won't be donating to the prosecutors' GoFundMe. Yeah. But it is fucked up that Trevor Kirk, gets to... Anyways, let's just go back to the article. If the plea deal is approved by the judge, according to the agreement, the U.S. Attorney's Office would, quote, move to strike the jury's finding that Kirk injured the victim, which that's crazy.
It sounds unconstitutional.
Well, at the very least, it's a literal rewriting of history.
The jury convicted him for his crimes, and now a new who has the jurisdiction to rewrite?
I mean, it is
override.
It's the federal government. The federal government, but now the federal government is under new management, right? So now they're coming in and being like, wait, let's offer him a plea deal, and it's like, wait, we already convicted him.
How do you offer somebody a plea deal after a conviction?
Exactly.
That's not even like. This episode of Law and Order is out of order. This is,
You're out of order. You're out of order. You're out of order.
No things out of order.
Yeah, and just like that sentence, I'm gonna read the sentence again. The U.S. Attorney's Office would move to strike the jury's finding, like strike meaning like cross out the jury's finding that Kirk injured the victim. It's like the victim was injured. We didn't even need a jury in the first place to like have to agree on that. But guess what? They did agree on that, and now you're just trying to be like, actually, no, they didn't.
Dude,
wrong.
I would be pissed as a jury member.
Yeah,
like, bro. That was a week of my life. Yeah. I missed work. Yeah. Do they even pay jurors?
You get paid like minimum wage.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. I'm suing the government. Nah, bitch.
Yeah.
I make too much money at my job for y'all to be. I need that difference, baby.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
This is literally like I'm not. We need to find a new word for Orwellian, like dark and like dystopian, because this is like niggas is just rewriting the actual playbook.
And it is like, and I'm not a Constitution ass type of guy. I'm not one of those like the founding fathers, like, they could all go to hell. I hope they are in hell, but it is like, we're according to this damn country that we're supposed to like, you get judged by a jury of your peers or whatever.
Yeah, what happened
Isn't that supposed to be a thing?
Unless
unless our brother Trevor Kirk
is no, that's great. This is just like, it's crazy that our podcast is talking about this and not the fucking news. That they're just wiping away.
Yeah,
like.
But in the news' defense, which I will rarely come to the news' defense, but there's a lot of shit to be talking. There's a lot of shit going on to be talking about, and so it's like we're again in another Trump presidency. So where like the onslaught of news is like too much.
This is like January 6th, like the January 6th choir, where they were like releasing them. This is like everybody know, like it truly is that one meme where it's like Trump releasing his Trump getting into office, and there's like the meme of Transformers, like the new Transformers, where the government is working with all the Decepticons, and they're doing like this is Razor Blade. And he's like he's like releasing all his like just worst people out of lockdown to come and work.
I get what you're saying. Like it's like in the X-Men, all the evil mutants get to break out of jail and they come out.
Thunderbolt Suicide Squad, except they have like legitimate positions in government.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because like since Trump has gone back into office, there has been rumblings of whether or not he's going to pardon Derek Chauvin.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
And that's kind of like unthinkable, right?
Yeah.
And so, but when you see some shit like this, you're like, okay, are they priming us? Is this like the warm up for the ultimate Decepticon, Derek Chauvin? Yeah. And Derek Chauvin, like they should, like Trump so far has not acknowledged that. And that's smart of him. Like Derek, that shit was one of the few moments in modern American history where the people actually stood up. Yeah. I mean, it was brief, and none of the goals of the movement were accomplished at all. But there was a time, a rare moment, where Americans actually were on the streets. And so that should give Trump, whoever's in charge, like a second thought of whether they should pardon this motherfucker. But here we have like a little trial of it happening.
This nigga said Trump and second thought in the same sentence. You think that nigga has ever in his fucking life given a second thought to anything? The nigga did the tariffs. He don't give a fuck about BLM. Dude, he likes to poke the bear. He likes to fucking
sure. I mean,
and not only that, the psychology in that whole White House with like Stephen Miller, the people who are running it, the real niggas who are running that shit, these are true Nazis, like real life. If something is rumbling in, they might not even be thinking of it. But if a new some new lore drop is rumbling in the right wing sphere, they're going to pick up on that and they're going to embolden it.
Yeah,
so
of course.
If the new thing is that's like white genocide, and it gets emboldened. If the new thing is Derek Chauvin being pardoned, that shit is going to fester, and then the White House is gonna latch onto that because that's who their base is.
Especially this White House, which is like they love the culture wars, the theater of it all. And Derek Chauvin would be like the boss, one of the boss battles of that.
Yes.
So let's go back to this article. Let's see here. Asalis, that's the new attorney general, I'm assuming, moved to offer a misdemeanor plea to a defendant who had already been convicted was extremely unorthodox, according to Carly Palmer, a former supervisor in the federal prosecutor's office in LA, who is now a partner at Halpern, May, Ibarra, Gelberg, whatever. Quote, "It's not unprecedented, but it is extraordinary to have a jury verdict withdrawn and replaced by a plea agreement to a lesser crime. The government invests extraordinary resources to take a case to trial," she said. "You have the agency's investigation. You have all the man or woman hours. Then you have a jury that says you got it right beyond a reasonable doubt." Yeah, but does all that work measure up to 4 LAPD officers not going on their fun run? Yeah. Did it underestimated the power of the people.
Protest. We're talking shit.
Should be a lesson to all of us.
Yeah, you talking shit. They niggas boycotted.
Yeah, they stayed home that day.
They went to that happy hour and got more fucking work done than all of the people.
Exactly. They actually got their paperwork done.
That worked.
Yeah.
Protesting's easy. I don't know why more people don't.
Like, wait, that guy just ran a stop sign. He seems drunk. Hey, we should stop him.
No, that shit. Damn.
Okay, so to justify seeking a post-conviction plea deal, prosecutors would need to have found evidence that the defendant was innocent or that there was some serious misconduct on the part of the trial team, according to Palmer. So obviously,
there is none. It's literally a straightforward, cut and dry, open and shut case where the guy body slams a lady, old lady, like there's footage.
Yeah.
There's footage. And there's a reason why the jury of the peers were like, yeah, that's fucked up.
And it's such a stark, like when you compare, like, I'm going to get the statistic wrong. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's like, white people love to like construe statistics for their racist, like whatever. And they'll do like the whatever it is for black people, the 1350, 30% of people, 50% of all whatever crime, whatever it is. But this same proportion pretty much applies to exonerations, to like the number, the people who have become exonerated of their crimes, meaning that, turns out the justice system got this one wrong and this person's actually innocent. That number is also disproportionately black. So you could take that same statistic and be like, well, it looks like black people are actually disproportionately innocent compared to other people. And so we cover like a lot of that on this show, like some story that's so hard to wrap your head around, where a black man was in prison for 30 years for a crime he didn't commit, and it turns out the cops had the exonerating evidence and they just withheld it for 30 years, and now he finally gets to walk free, and he's crying, and it's like this. You don't know how to feel about it because it's like, he's finally free, but it's like his life was taken away from him. That's the black guy. Now look at a white guy who gets same thing. Same cops, like tears in their eyes, like finally our brother walks free again. How does it feel?
Taking away a man's life like that? The whores. No,
Just the stark difference.
and only getting a year. He was only getting a year in the first place.
No.
right?
He was. What he's going to get is a year tops now.
Okay.
If the judge agrees to this, so there's still a chance the judge might not agree to this. But before, I think it was like 10 years. It was like a real sentence that he was facing for, again, just out of the clear blue sky, assaulting and pepper spraying a lady in the street.
Yeah, I'm glad the justice system is taking care of the real victims here. The police body slamming fucking old women. That's cool.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, yeah. That was that.
First story of the night.
Yeah.
Sitting on my phone.
Yeah. But our next story is fun, lighthearted, good stuff.
This one's not body. This is insane. This is not body slamming cops. I mean, old lady body slamming cops. This is New York City. We at home with it. Via New York Daily News, a NYPD cop arrested for borrowing $1,700 from a Queens motorist he pulled over during a traffic stop. Is
right, already off the top, you're like, wait, what?
What did
Adrian's
you
already
say?
laughing. Like,
What?
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
but
no,
just
I'll
off
say
the
that
top,
again.
you're like, what?
Yeah, and that's not even the complete sentence.
It's not even the first clause of the sentence. Damn, you got to repeat that clause,
I
bro.
gotta go back and repeat that. I said a NYPD cop was arrested for borrowing $1,700 from a Queens motorist he pulled over during a traffic stop, is under investigation for another episode in which he allegedly failed to repay a $4,500 loan for which he used his police shield as a form of collateral for, the Daily News has learned. So,
Hell yeah.
did you hear what I said? A cop is fucking under investigation.
Oh, arrested.
Oh, he's been fully. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. He was
Bro. It's one thing to be arrested because you can't pay your debts, like debtor prison. I don't agree with that, but that happens. But he arrested just for borrowing in the first place.
Bro, he's pulling people over, and they're like, "Is this DUI?" And he's like, "No, this is actually an IOU."
Yeah.
And I need like 20. You man, hey man, I need like $30.
You're sitting there, it's like, bro, don't you got a job?
Yeah, you are literally at work. I need this, man, please.
What are you doing with your life, bro?
This cop is pathetic. But
Let's keep going.
Sorry, I'll keep going. Armando Silvestri, who was suspended without pay, which is something he really needs, which is
Damn,
the worst.
the irony
news,
hurts on top of all of it.
Which is the worst news of the story.
Yeah. I owe $4,500, but you can't put a price on the irony.
He was suspended without pay following his arrest for official misconduct on May 1st. Borrowed the money from 56-year-old Vincent Ortiz of Brooklyn, who allegedly loaned him $4,500 nearly 3 months before he made the illegal traffic stop. I'm a victim of one of his schemes, Ortiz told the Daily News.
He's in jail. He's got arrested for just like being like a mooch. Being like illegally, criminally a mooch.
Dog,
because you can't do that shit on the job.
Yeah.
Ask to borrow money, not when you're pulling someone over.
I'm like, okay, I always wanted to like wrap my mind around this thing because it's two charges.
Yeah.
The $4,500 one wasn't, did he not pull? He didn't pull.
Yeah, this was not on the job, but he used his badge as collateral.
He was like, man, I will give you my badge.
Please, like, yo, what?
Which means when the chief was like found all this out and was like, turn in your badge. He was like, about that. So actually, I need to talk to you about that.
Yeah, I'll get it to you in 2 weeks.
If you got $4,500, I can get you. Let me borrow $4,500.
Yeah, exactly.
I can get that back.
She was like, all right, but I need it back in 2 weeks. She's like ensnaring everyone in his life. He's like, just one of those toxic fuck ups you have in your life that everyone has to cut out at a certain point until it's like, bro, I love you, but you gotta get your shit together. I'm sorry.
You're just at his intervention. Like, it's not even about the $4,500 anymore. It's about this wild behavior.
And it's like it's so hard to ask to borrow money in a criminal way. Like it is not illegal in 99.99% of circumstances. Asking to borrow money is not a crime.
No, it's not.
This dude figured it out.
Made it into a crime. He mooched his way behind bars. Damn, nigga. This nigga couch surfed his way into prison.
Yeah.
This is like, I don't think he's a couch surfer, but this is like couch surfing.
Yeah,
activity.
no, he is. He is.
Oh my God. No, I'm just like, bro, your badge, though, your shit, like that's crackhead behavior.
Yeah, it is.
You selling I'll give you my badge for $4,500.
Yeah.
Bro, okay. We'll go deeper into the traffic stops.
Okay, traffic stop first.
The victim in the March 1st traffic stop told the news that he was driving his Toyota Highlander on Hillside Avenue near 160th Street in Jamaica when Silvestre flashed his lights and pulled him to the side of the road. Silvestre told the driver he targeted him because of his nationality, saying, "I saw your flag, so I know you're Dominican. My people," before feeding him the same story he gave Ortiz, claiming he owed money to the DMV and was in danger of losing his job. What the fuck? What do you owe to the DMV?
Yeah,
What do you owe?
The DMV's after me. I said, bro, you're a fucking cop.
Yeah. Man, even worse.
That's also
how scary the DMV is. Yeah. Holy shit.
You're the scary one.
Yeah. Don't you have a gun?
Don't you have a gun? Exactly. And like at the end of the day, this is probably one of the best cops we featured on this podcast because you, like you said, you have a gun. Go rob. Go do cop shit,
man. You've stepped into corruption. Don't be a bitch about it.
Yeah.
Like get your shit, bro. You're already corrupt at this point.
Yeah.
Don't be sad and corrupt.
Can I borrow money? No. Damn. Well, I gave you a chance.
I tried.
That's what should come next.
This is pathetic.
Yeah.
this is do better, bro.
Yeah.
Do better corruption.
Exactly.
Going around, hey, come on, bro. Can I please have $1,500? Please, can I?
Yeah.
This is.
I mean, it's cop 101. Like, be like, oh, I smell something in this car. We're gonna go ahead and take all your cash. That's evidence. Like, this is what they do every day.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, I'll say this. This man. He does not deserve the badge because he clearly is not living up to his full potential as an NYPD police officer.
The thing is, I think he wants to keep his integrity and his morals. I genuinely think that's what's probably happening.
First of all, integrity's out the window.
I know, but in his mind, I think in his mind, he's not scamming people. He's probably still just borrowing money. He's like, if I ask, I'm not a bad guy. I've seen corruption. I'm not corrupt. I'm just asking people to borrow $1,500 to $4,500 anytime I pull them over. Like maybe in his
please,
yeah, that's.
My brother. That's the funny. That's the part that's so relatable.
Insane.
That's like, yeah, dude, I know this guy. We all know this guy.
My black king, brother. Can I get my Puerto Rican?
Yeah. He's like, come on, Musulman, come on.
Do it for La Raza,
brother.
Holmes.
Yeah.
Do it for the La Raza. Man, if you don't get your ass up. I'm just trying to. That's crazy. I'm trying to send some money back home. Nigga.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Okay. He was in danger of losing his job. I felt a little, I'll continue reading the story. This is the victim. He says, "I felt a little pressured. I've heard stories of cops committing suicide because of problems like that," said the driver, who asked that his name be withheld for fear of reprisal. At the same time, he's a cop. He's got a city job. What could go wrong? Everything went wrong. The victim added.
Nice.
At no point during the interaction did Silvestre turn on his body-worn camera as required during car stops, nor did he document the interaction, police said. The driver said Silvestre gave him the runaround for more than a month as he tried to recoup on the loan, offering excuses and at times dodging his calls. "I kept calling him. He wouldn't pick up the phone," said the driver. "He would just come up with stupid excuses. One time I was calling, he told me his phone broke while he was making an arrest."
Dude, think of a better excuse than that, bro.
I'm on the phone with you.
Yeah. Sorry, I was chasing some bad guys. I was on a high-speed pursuit.
Sorry,
I didn't have time.
An black man shot my phone. And eventually, the driver turned to his cousin, a cop who formerly served in internal affairs, and the pair decided to turn Silvestre in. Cops charged Silvestre with official misconduct. That's the first time. Dude had to go. He couldn't even like go to cops. He had to go to his cousin who was a cop. He had to
I mean, it's kind of sad because it's like, dude, don't you got like people in your life that like because it's true like
You're La Raza?
well, it's like this guy mentioned. He's like, well, I gave it to him because he clearly has a job, so I figured what could go wrong. But it's like, yeah, like that's what this guy should be arguing to like his friends and family. Because another unbelievable part of this to me is that anyone said yes to this. Like you're getting pulled over by the cop and he's asking to borrow money. That's so absurd. I could never rationalize that. Like, well, he's got a job. It's like, no, he's asking you for money while on the job. That's insane. This guy is insane.
First off, he's been caught for 2, which means there are hundreds of people out there who he's pulled over asking, like, hey, can I get some money? And they just, get your pathetic ass on and peeled off on his ass. But to your point, the first thing the guy said was, I heard of stories about this, how cops kill themselves because they're not financially stable.
What stories, though?
I don't know. Listen,
I've never heard that story.
This is what the guy who, I'm just saying, he was imploring empathy, like, to the guy. Stupid empathy, but empathy, like, nonetheless.
I mean, I've heard of stories of, like, farmers killing themselves during the Great Depression, but I've never, like, you know what I mean? But, like, cops doing that?
No, I've never heard.
There's a lot of stereotypes about cops.
Killing themselves.
That's not one of them.
Yeah.
This guy's fucking... It makes sense that the guy who would loan him the money has some kind of ridiculous things to say about it.
It does make sense that he's stupid. It makes sense. But onto the police shield story, Ortiz, who is paralyzed in one leg and walks with crutches, said a friend introduced Silvestre to him as an NYPD cop in need of a loan to dig himself out of a financial hole. I say I'm not really up for it, he says. Please do me the favor. I know this kid. He's a police officer, and he's in trouble, and he's asking for my help, said Ortiz. So Ortiz agreed to meet Silvestre on January 8th near his home, where he said the cop explained that he racked up $4,500 in fines to the DMV for failing to return a license plate registered to his deceased grandmother, and that his commanding officer was threatening to fire him if he didn't pay what he owed the state within 3 days.
I will say, that does sound real.
Yeah,
like how specific it is and just ridiculous it is. That's real life. That's the type of shit that happens in reil life.
Yeah, we have to over-explain. It's so much to explain. Okay, my grandma died. I got like $4,500.
I forgot about this.
DMV. Also, my boss found out.
It would be technically a crime if I don't pay them, and then and then I wouldn't be allowed to be a police officer.
And I'm like literally a cop, so that's a problem. I've been in situations, bro. I've been places where you have to explain 9 things. Nah, it's a little bit more complicated than that. But when Ortiz asked for collateral in the form of jewels, cars, or other valuables, Silvestre said he didn't have anything worth $4,500. But thinking on his feet, Ortiz asked the cop to put his shield on the line instead. Oof. Oh, damn. That's he was like, all right. Give me a badge. Freaky ass nigga.
I see that badge.
Yeah, I see that. Yo, this nigga's dark. Whoa. To think to ask for that is, I mean, I get it. $4,500 is a lot of money. But to go, let me see that badge. Yeah. Okay.
That's like the evil character in the story. The guy's like, I have nothing to give. He's like, what about that ring? He's like, well, my grandmother it's passed down to me. It's not even worth anything. He's like, sounds like it's worth something to you. God damn.
Yeah, that evil shit. Yeah. It's valueless. Sounds like sentimental is a value.
Can't put a price on that.
I don't know. Seems to be valuable. That is fucking hilarious. Yeah, it's that evil ass, like, yeah, he's like, I like the blood on the badge adds a little bit more. Yeah, no, they asked for the badge, which is psychotic, but also quick thinking on his part. Quotes, I'm like, would you be willing to give me your badge? And I'm going to take this money, I'm going to spread it out, put this badge on it, and I'm going to take a picture, Ortiz recounted. If you don't get my money back, I'm going to take it straight to the precinct and show your sergeant. Agreeing to the deal, Silvestre left with the money, and Ortiz walked away with an outrageous photo of the cop's silver shield surrounded by thousands in cash. His shield number, 24028, is clearly visible in the pictures. Damn. I love that they left the shit.
How much this guy knew what he was doing? Like, bro, have you done this before? Is that how you make your living? Is extorting? extorting cops and DMV debt. Like, why is he so familiar with the situation?
I want to see the gun. I want to get the serial number on the gun, and then I'll put the money out. We're gonna do a money spread on above the serial number. That's a nut job, nut job. This guy acting like, oh, I'm just a simple man I don't have $4,500. Well, come into my office. Step inside.
Yeah.
But yes, if it wasn't, and this is a quote, if it wasn't for that badge, I would have never given him that loan, said Ortiz. Your badge, that's your whole identity. It's like your gun. You don't put your gun into somebody else's hand, but he did it.
Damn.
But Ortiz, who loaned Silvestre cash he received from his father's life insurance policy, said he never saw a cent of that money back. As the months wore on, Ortiz and Silvestre told his creditors he was contemplating suicide due to his financial woes. He came and told me, I'm embarrassed. I want to pay you, but everything's wrong for me, Ortiz said. I know you're not believing none of my stories. Silvestre can't be charged criminally for refusing to pay back a personal loan that he made while off duty. Ortiz was in the process of filing a civil suit against Silvestre when he saw news of the officer's arrest and has since told his story to Internal Affairs at the NYPD. Silvestre joined the force on November 2nd, 2020, and made $102,972 in 2024, according to See Through New York. Damn, nigga.
Yeah.
Nigga, what the fuck?
Well, the thing is that apparently, according to his story, he needed the money in 3 days.
For DM, or he would be fired. Okay, yeah. I guess that makes sense.
But still, be like, I gotta ask someone for money. Who could I ask? Oh, let me pull over this guy and ask him.
Yo, now we gotta start worrying about these cops' finances too.
Yeah,
that's what the fuck. It's crazy, man.
And he couldn't pay them back. That's the other part of it. It's like, I feel like he could have gotten away with this pretty easily. Just like, you make $102,000 a year.
Yeah.
Pay them back in increments, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He was just ducking them,
and
so he is like some kind of serial fuck up. Yeah,
just a bad cop, a lowercase bad cop,
an incompetent person.
Just a goof. It's like, yeah.
Mom's like, well, he moved back in, just can't seem to get it together.
Well, he did try to become a cop. That probably was our first sign that he was a fucking idiot. But Silvestre, I'm pretty sure I've been pronouncing your last name completely wrong. I'll get with the people to find out how to actually say your name. But yeah, nigga, you could have just quit your job and not had that debt.
Yeah.
And just let the DMV.
Yeah, but hey, you're not a cop anymore. Yeah. Look at it as a positive. Yeah. You go do something else with your life.
You probably did. Okay, he paid off the DMV.
I don't know. He's in jail. I don't know.
He probably what's it called when you rob Paul to pay Peter? Rob Peter to pay Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure a cop isn't supposed to do that. Pretty sure a cop isn't allowed to rob Peter to pay Paul. But hey, what do I know?
What do we know? Yeah. Let's go on to the next story. That was fun. That was a silly one.
That was a fun little roller coaster.
It was silly
for sure.
Now let's go back to another frequent theme of cops being creepy ass motherfuckers. So we're going to Minnesota. Reading from CBS. The headline: Ex-Northfield teacher sent nude photos to students, and the school resource officer covered it up. Charges say. A former Northfield Middle School teacher is accused of sending sexual photos of herself to high school students, and a former school resource officer is accused of covering up the incidents. The two were charged in Rice County on Thursday. Charging documents say a student came forward in December to report that Katie Hansen, 37, was sending photos via Snapchat, and she had some of the photos on her phone. The student noted that she knew a report had been made in March 2024 with Gabriel Crombie, 33, who was a school resource officer at the time. In a post-Miranda interview, so, after she's been arrested, Hansen said she sent nude photos to several boys. Disgusting. Some of the boys sent photos back, she said. Documents say that she knew she interacted with, quote, a few boys, the youngest of whom was in 8th grade. She said she just liked the attention. Documents go on to say that Hansen said there was a discussion about taking gummies. So she was also trying to give them weed gummies. Hansen went on to say that she stopped when she started dating Crombie. Aww. She met the love of her life and said goodbye to her old life of sending nudes to boys.
When she met an adult her age who didn't find her creepy vibes, she had to meet someone who matched her freak.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, who else to match a pedophile's freak other than a police officer?
Yeah. He's like, well, sometimes you meet someone, you got so much in common. It's like you can't even believe it.
Bitch, both of us have holes in our hearts so dark and deep. Come on. I feel your dark hole, you feel my dark hole. Come on.
Yeah, so it gets
first off, we just there's so much red flags that you just read over.
Yeah.
The lady had a Snapchat. Arrest any adult with a snap. If you're 17 and a half, you should be thrown in jail for having a Snapchat.
Yeah.
That's too fucking grown, nigga.
Yeah, what are you Miss Crystalia over here at the school?
A 37-year-old lady.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm 34. I don't know how to operate Snapchat.
Yeah.
That's gross as hell. I know she got Roblox accounts. That's a creepy,
it is
creepy ass lady, bro.
I'd rather hear it's less weird. It's less incriminating to be talking to a teenager on Signal or WhatsApp than fucking Snapchat. Snapchat, we know what's going down on Snapchat.
You know exactly what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. So first red flag, Snapchat. Second red flag, I would say sending nudes to a bunch of boys.
Yeah, that's the second. For me, that's the second one.
Second strike. Strike two. So they started, she stopped when she fell in love, started dating Crombie. That relationship developed, so this is the important part, when Crombie approached her on April 25th, 2024, about a report made by a teacher. Charges say Hansen told Crombie everything, and Crombie responded that he was going to do her a favor and let the case go.
What the fuck?
So that's the portrait that is being painted here. She's sending her nudes to little boys. It starts spreading around the school. The boys, they're like, oh, who is someone in authority, someone we can trust, someone whose job it would be to put an end to this? They go to the cop. The cop goes up to the lady and is like, hey, I heard you've been doing this. Could I take you out on a date sometime?
Why you getting that pussy up for them kids? I'm right here. That's crazy.
They don't mention it in this article. It would be an assumption, but I assume there might be a little bit he definitely has leverage over her in this moment.
He's extorting this woman.
Yeah.
He's that's the what's it called? The unspoken thing of the article. This is rape. Or I don't know if it's
we don't know if he was extorting her. There's a small chance they could have actually just fallen in love. We don't know. They could be two creepy ass people.
Dating, but the initial thing is you are
yes. It sounds like extortion.
There's only one. I cannot imagine someone going to a person and being like, "Yo, this lady's a child rapist. A child predator. You got to do something about this." And in that meeting, the first thing he's like. It was love at first sight. I couldn't even think about the whole child.
Maybe he's always had his eyes on this lady, Miss Hansen. He's always been working up the courage. What could be my way in? What could be a movie she likes or a book that I could strike a conversation? And then finally this falls in his lap. And he's like, oh, my stars, my lucky day. Finally get to talk to Miss Hansen.
If I'm piecing it together, this lady is a loser who can't get no dick. So she's she's I can't.
It says she likes the attention. That's what she said.
Yeah, I can't put my mind behind the psychology of a fucking pedophile. But I'm like, you must be a loser who you're surrounded, who can't get no people in your own age group. So now you're preying on the attention that, mind you, the attention is they're kids.
Yeah,
they're forced to pay attention to you because you're teaching them. And I'm guessing she means, but she likes the attention, that sexual attention from horny little fucking just hormone-driven children. This lady's a fucking freak. This is why we.
She's a loser, and then also the cop who's who also can't get a date from any regular woman except for this fucking pedophile that he's supposed to be reporting and protecting the kids. And instead, he's like, oh, lucky me. Looks like I do got something to do Saturday night. Ms. Hanson, how would you like to...
I know who you'll be taking to the Sadie Hawkins dance.
And no, it's not any of these boys. I know, very sad.
This
but
is like
what about
some
me?
Uvalde police levels of negligence. Fucking just reasons why.
A microcosm of it, maybe you could say.
Yeah, maybe not. No one died, but equally as fucking dark and jarring. It's like the fact that that school police resource officer took advantage of this situation is one of the grossest things.
Yeah.
Like the pedophilia is the grossest part. That it just evolves. It evolves. The grossness just gets compounded.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
But I'll let you. Is there more to the story? I'm sorry.
Yeah, but yeah.
Did something happen to these people? That's what I want to know.
Yes. Hansen is charged with 2 felony counts of sending sexually explicit electronic communications to a minor. Crombie is charged with a felony count of aiding an offender and a gross misdemeanor count of misconduct. Emphasis on gross. If you allow me to take a little liberty on this story.
I'm pretty sure that's how they say it.
If I'm allowed to editorialize a little bit, if I can go out on a limb here. Gross, nasty, yuck.
I mean, that's pain. It's funny whenever you're reading the beginning of the stories and I have to act like I didn't know the story. I have to be like, ew, make the face to let everybody know. Oh, I find that disgusting. What are you saying? Oh, pedophiles. Yeah. I know what's coming.
That's good acting.
I'm a thespian. All right, are we moving on?
Yeah, and we're staying in Minnesota.
Cold like Minnesota. Republic Radio is where we'll be getting our story from. MPD chief standing by cops amid accusations of home break-in after dog complaint. A Minneapolis woman says police officers illegally entered her house in the middle of the night following a complaint about a loose dog. But police officers say after an hour of door knocking and phone calls, they've grown concerned about a possible emergency inside while trying to evade an aggressive animal. So we'll go into the story. Ebony Dobbins says Rocky, her Rottweiler, okay, she got really creative with the name, escaped from the Northside home that she shares with her partner and 3 young children just before 1 a.m. on March 25th. When police were unable to wake her, Dobbins, 34, said an officer climbed through her son's bedroom window, walked through their house, and unlocked the front door and let 2 other cops inside.
Insane.
That is... what the fuck?
Because it's like one of those articles where you're like, none of this is making sense yet.
None of
There's a loose dog.
Why is this a story?
How do you connect a loose dog to cops are climbing through your son's window?
They went downstairs. They woke up my girlfriend. This is a quote I'm reading. They went downstairs. They woke up my girlfriend, and they had her come upstairs. Then they all came in my room, Dobbins said. They woke me up and forced us all into my living room. Cops just, from their perspective, broke into their homes.
And then they're like, family meeting, everyone in the living room now.
We need to talk. We need to talk about Rocky's behavior. Okay? Because
we are tired of telling you. It's like you don't even respect us.
Why are you in our robes? I found it.
Exactly. This guy's like coming out of the shower. Like,
I just have something to say. I have something to say.
Yeah.
Rocky is being unreasonable.
Yeah. Ebony, you do not have the talking stick right now, okay? We've gone over this. This is not how we have our family meetings.
It is literally facts. They broke it okay. Their excuse is a dog is loose.
A dog is loose.
The juice is loose, and that is what they are breaking into the home with. I can't even fathom this. I'm like, because I'm happy they didn't shoot the fucking dog.
That's true.
But I'm also, you get a dog catcher.
Exactly.
Is it not a 4 a.m.? I guess it's 4 a.m., but...
Yet another, and I like to repeatedly make this point on like, this is like, abolish the cops does not mean that all the various jobs that the police have are going to go unattended. It means give those jobs to actual specialized people like animal control would have been great in this situation. They probably wouldn't have broken into a child's bedroom
I would
to somehow deal with a loose dog.
And we always send cops for animal control, which makes no sense. Like you see all these stories about like especially watch Cops. Go watch Cops. The actual this and the show, because you will see multiple segments where they're fucking with animals, especially in Houston. Houston, they'd be like, I got a call about an unruly horse, or like they'll be like, this horse isn't being taken care of. Like it'll be a lot of calls like that.
Click clack.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just gonna put it down myself. Sorry, Seabiscuit. See you on the other side. And they just fucking. But so this is an example of like these people aren't. How much do you to deal with the amount of shit cops are sent to deal with? You would need 20 years of training of like animal training, mental health training, how to deal with someone having a mental health crisis, how to catch a pig.
Exactly.
What the fuck? Why do I have to know all these things? You need like 40 years of school to be a cop. But instead
they have like a half a year. The most under-equipped people on earth for what they're doing.
Who have to deal with the most random shit. It's not even like, it's just like in a video game when you just get random side quests. Yeah. And it's like, well, I guess I got to go deliver this to the mark. I don't even know. But I'll keep going. Sorry. Yes, where was I? Yeah, they went downstairs. They woke up my girlfriend, and then they had her come upstairs. Then they all came in my room. Dobbins said they woke me up and forced us all into the living room. Dobbins spoke at a news conference Monday alongside Michelle Gross with Communities United Against Police Brutality. Gross released doorbell camera video where officers can be seen ringing Dobbins' bell, then immediately running away in what Gross described as playing ding-dong ditch. This conduct is unlawful, and as a result, this family is traumatized, Gross said. But in a police report that Gross released with the video, Officer Brian Peebles writes that he and his colleagues were concerned that there was an emergency in the home because most of the lights were on.
Oh my God.
Dobbins' vehicle was in the driveway and no one responded to the repeated loud knocking. Pebbles writes that he ran to his squad car after ringing Dobbins' doorbell because he was trying to avoid the loose dog.
Just a bunch of horse shit from a bunch of crew of idiots.
I love the difference.
What happened was
the juxtaposition of the different stories. They said they're playing ding dong ditch. I checked the ring camera. These motherfuckers playing ding dong ditch. And the cop is like, actually, I was terrified and running from the dog. Yeah. It was pretty.
We had no choice but to break into a child's bedroom. I also want to touch on like. Go back to when you were like a little kid and how like going to sleep at night can be very scary sometimes. You know, you like want like your closet door to be open or closed, and you look out the window, you see a scary shadow, and you literally have like a terrified fantasy, a nightmare of like a man being outside your window. Can you imagine how hard it would be to ever go to sleep again as a child if a man did crawl into your bedroom window at night?
That is literally the real boogeyman.
Yes,
the real life actual boogeyman. Cops popping up. I was like, dude. I imagine there was lightning.
Literally.
I imagine lightning was behind this person.
I do too. It's scary. It's fucking terrifying.
It is fucking terrifying.
It's horror movie terrifying.
Because they start with the kids. They start with the kids. Fucking window, which is just, and then just start commanding shit once they're in the house.
Everyone in the living room. Like, everyone in the living room. No! Flashbangs are going off.
Just one shot to wake everybody. I just find it funny that they watch the ring. Let's go back and watch the ring camera footage. And it's just ring, ring, ring. And cops ditch it, like just taking a fucking booking it. And then the cops having to be like, no, actually, there was more than two bitches in that camera. Turns out, that's great story. I hope these people get justice. I don't know what justice would be. A little bit of money, you know, but
thanks for listening. Join us on our Patreon. Please, $5 a month gets you whatever. We already pitched it to y'all. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Have a good one.